What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and I'm back. Shout out to everybody who support this platform, SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, share, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. What I wanted to talk about is, why do men cry in the dark? Why do us men cry in the dark? There's a book out called Why Do Men Cry in the Dark? And I haven't read the whole book. I read some of it, maybe a chapter or two, and what's so interesting about it is just the name alone. If I suggest black women, I suggest you read this book so you can understand the depths of a man. I think a lot of times our women look at us men like we're just tools. We're just a box of tools that, I can just pull out, use, throw to the side, and just do whatever I want to do with them, because the tools are always going to work for me. The tools are going to always be there. And this is how a lot of our women treat us. They think that we're always going to be there no matter how we're treated, no matter what condition we're in, financially, physically, mentally, or emotionally. And this is why we cry in the dark. We cry in the dark because as young boys, we was taught to not cry. Our mothers told us to not cry. Men don't cry. Boys don't cry. Crying is for girls. Now, I'm not saying we should be crybabies. That's something different. But we was taught never to cry. We was taught to never show affection, never show our emotions. We was only taught to be slaves for another person's existence. We was taught that we must endure the woes of the world and our women. And we are supposed to deal with it. And black men have been doing this for a long time. We have been suffering in silence. And it's time that we stop, fellas. It's time that we free ourselves from this suffering. It's time for us to stop crying in the dark. It's time for us to stop suffering in silence. Because that's what we do. Because that's what we were taught. Our women don't understand how much we've been dehumanized and how much the world dehumanizes us. We're considered monsters. We're considered super predators. We're considered aggressive and violent. And a lot of black men are not like that. But when you're constantly walking around and you're labeled from a child, when you're dehumanized from a child, when you're told not to show your emotions, when you're told not to cry when things hurt, because that's not what a man does. You get the man that you have today. You get the man that is either hyper masculine, or you get the guy who's effeminate. You get the guy who shows too much emotion, and you get the guys who don't know how to express their emotions. And this is due to the fact that a lot of us black men were taught by our mothers to not cry. And this is why men cry in the dark. And this is why us black men do a lot of the things that we do. Not to say that it's okay, but we do them because we were never taught how to express our thoughts correctly. We were never taught how to communicate our feelings. Because according to everybody in the world, we are emotionless people. We don't have the right to feel. The only thing we should be feeling good about is our women and what we do for them. We shouldn't feel good about ourselves. We shouldn't be happy. We shouldn't love ourselves. We should always be the last on the list. See, we were taught this. And see, what you hear right here in Black YouTube, or you hear a lot of black men, you know, your Ibmores, your SYSBMs, your red pillars, whatever category you want to put yourself in. But you hear a lot of black men talking about this now. We're sitting around and we're talking about the dehumanization of us and why these things have occurred and how these things are going to change and what we're going to do. And this is why you see the movements like Save Yourself, Black Man. A lot of us are walking away because for years we never understood why a lot of us black men were alcoholics. A lot of us black men were addicted to drugs. A lot of us are because, not just because of the times, but because of the stress and the depression that is put on us by the world and how we must suffer in silence. And the way we deal with this suffering is through the use of drugs and alcohol, you know. And this hasn't done anything good for us. This is why you see a lot of black men dying at an early age from heart attacks. All of these things stem back to unresolved hurt. All these things stem back to trauma. I bet these young black men dying at 60, 55, 60 years old from heart attacks. Before they died, if I had a chance to interview them, I bet they'll tell me they've been through some traumatic things in their life. Things that they never wanted to talk about. See, black men was never taught to sit down and talk about their issues. We were taught to accept what life gives us and just keep it pushing. We was taught that whatever we went through was part of life and we just supposed to deal with it and move on. We were never taught properly how to deal with things. You see? And a lot of this is due to a lot of black men growing up with single mothers and the fact that black people as a whole don't understand the importance of therapy. They don't understand what trauma is and how traumatized they are. You see? So when you're dealing with a group of people who was taught to hold everything in, this is why you see today these young boys running around and they're expressing themselves the way they are. Because there were generations of men who were silent. They suffered in silence. And some of them continue to. Because they don't want to upset anything. Because we were taught to just follow and not lead. See, we were always told that we were the leaders. But we were not allowed to lead. They only allow us to follow. And that's why we continue to suffer in silence. And that's why men cry in the dark. But see, we don't have to do that no more, fellas. We don't have to do that no more. It's time for us to take our lives back. It's time for us to say, if I'm a lead, if this is about me, then this was what it is. Take me as I am, or have nothing at all. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment. If you like the content, CashApp link, $ Sheep Stay Sleep TV, one word. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.